Ring ring ring, hero seems virgins and peasants. And welcome back to the Herpity Herp Cave.
The Herpity Herp Cave. Well, at least we got something new, baby, as we get ready for a nice Friday over here. Nice Friday of actually probably going to be a big day, to be quite frank with you, as we do have some setups on both sides going on right now for Bitcoin and by extension the whole damn market. And it is Friday after all, so we got major expirations in traditional markets, which does mean that volatility incoming, which is what we love as traders. Anyways, with that in mind, I do want to welcome all 500 people in here right now. Good morning to you all, or good evening actually, because I imagine some of you are coming in from the Western hemisphere of this lovely world that we're in right now. And I want to say a massive thank you for the 150 likes on the video as well. That is amazing. I see Nikki Page. I see African Crypto Warlord. I see Bear Nutrition. I see Elsa. Good morning to everyone out there. I'm feeling a little bit slowed up this morning myself, as I actually got a good night of sleep, but I don't know, just one of those days where you're not feeling as, as energetic. So we'll see how we get through this one, but I do want to make sure that I get it as well as I can as possible. And then also, yeah, we got the bounce that we were looking for yesterday, so that was kind of the easy trade, if you will. What happens next? What happens next will what happens next will disgust you. Anyways, I do see, oh my god, man, a lot of familiar faces in here. What's up, Mr. Elliott? Suze you, Yocom, Mr. Anand, hopefully I'm saying that properly, Mr. Burger Cunt, and Capo Tico, the sleepless motherfucker over there, Feltima, Mono, Durian, MGTOW Biologic, Gary P, Daniel McBreezy, and who else do we have? Bueller? Is your last name really Bueller? That's awesome, man. That was like one of my favorite movies as a kid. Crypto King, nice fucking name there. Ice PP, also pretty damn good name as well. Mr. Venegas is back. And Tyler, what's up, man? Good morning to you, and all of your chitlins as well, and Sandra Smith, Smick Manny, gang indeed, Sammy, Sean, oh my god, man, and Steven and Chinggis. I do actually see a super chat here that I really want to address right off the bat because it's nice and easy. It's from Erica Thune-Mayer, who's saying, hey, Krown, I noticed that sometimes you look at the KVDB Advanced Stochastic Indicator, and other times you use the BBWP indicator and stochastic separately. Is there a reason? Yes, they're not the same indicator. That's the fucking reason. So the KVDB's Advanced Stochastic does have a volatility component attached onto it. It's the HVP of Stochastic Momentum. I'm less of a fan of using that for volatility indicator. I prefer the BBWP volatility indicator just because that's the one that I'm more familiar with, and also I back tested it more, so I'm more it works for my sort of my strategies. But that's not to say that the HVP on Stochastic Momentum doesn't work as well. It certainly can and does work actually very, very well in the actual strategy that KVDB came up with himself. But to answer your question just straight up, they're different indicators used for different things, and like the stochastic momentum, that's a momentum indicator. BBWP is a volatility indicator, so completely different right there. But yes, there is an HVP of stochastic momentum. Actually, I'll just quickly show it to you right here. I'm talking about this moving line on the advanced stochastic. For me, it doesn't fit into my personal trading plans as well, so that's why I don't use it. But yeah, doesn't mean that it's not good, just not for my personal plans. Anyways, other than that, I feel like I have a few announcements to get through. I just want to make sure that I actually reference my notes over here. Okay, yes, we do have a sale. Get that one right off the bat, so my team doesn't fucking hate me. Yeah, we have a sale going on. It's running over here for Memorial Day. It'll be running for another couple days here. And as always with any one of these programs, please do not rush into them. Please, I beg you to watch the promotional videos that accompany them, which you can find on all of them right here. And also when it comes to these programs, I don't want to spend too much time on this simply because you probably already heard my spiel about this, but basically when it comes to these programs, especially the TA program and the options program, these are like very long programs that are really intended to be watched multiple times over the course of, realistically, like years. So do understand that, if you're not that type of person, if you're not really like looking to go deep like that, then it's not going to be relevant to you and it's not going to be helpful for you. So I would not suggest it for that type of person. Other than that, I'll just let the promotional videos do their job because they go a little bit more in depth into the explanations of what to expect. But there you go. Other than that, oh yeah, I also made something. Okay, so I stealthily made another program. It has very little to do with trading, if anything at all. Although, naturally everything kind of coincides with each other, right? But it's more of like a philosophical mindset program, which I fucking hate that term because a lot of the time mindset programs are just bullshit. And the reason why they're sold like that is because it's very difficult to prove results. So what I hope to do in that program is actually come at it from more like a philosophical sort of operating system. That's how I kind of think of my mind systems. Is I want to be treating it as like an iOS, or well, I'm on iOS now because I just got a fucking iPhone, which actually I'm starting to like, or like an Android. You know, these sort of things. The way that we kind of filter through reality. Anyways, I threw that up in the link in the description below. It's one of the last links there, but yeah, I imagine this is probably going to be relevant for most people because it's really not intended to be like related to trading, although there will be parallels from there because that's my background. That's where I come from, obviously. Anyways, other than that, I got a shit ton more caffeine to get into, which I desperately need today, and then we'll see where we kind of land on this one. Like I said, we kind of got the easy trade for yesterday. That was that move up to 30,450 to 30,500. That was a 382 fib retracement. So today, I suspect that we're probably gonna be waiting around until U.S. markets open up a little bit later, and then I'd be looking for actually $1,000 moves probably at that point, because I do think that we're gonna get resolution on this today, and one side is gonna get trapped. The question is which side. So I want to be going over the validations for which side is probably gonna get trapped on this one, because right now I really don't have like a strong bias because we're literally right in the middle of the fucking range. So to me, that's just like a neutral gamble zone basically, which fair enough, gambling fun, but usually not very profitable in my experience. Loves you, big bro. Loves you too, Granny Bashin. Granny Bashin. Are you a granny or are you Granny Bashin? Is that like a sexual reference as well? Holy shit, man. Now I just need to do some Google research just so I can know. That's in my mind's eye right now. Anyways, Italian stallion green. He's saying green. Fair enough. I mean, I probably wouldn't call it either which way right now, but actually would say that, well, if I did have to call it right now, actually, I'd probably say down. But that is not in any way, shape, or form a call that I stand by at this moment in time. I'm waiting for the very clean and cut and clear areas that are marked off on price action, which would actually give me a major bias in that direction. So nice and easy right there. And cow level crypto, what's up, man? PJ Bark, when long? That's a really good question, man. I don't know. What fucking time frame are you on? That's a good question. Alphabet Crypto has an amazing comment here. He says, bears are wrecked, more pain coming. What? I think bears have been doing pretty fucking well since basically November. So I don't know, man. Maybe like the extremely low term time frame, over aggressive, over leveraged traders. Yeah, they're probably wrecked, as are the same ones for the longs as well. I mean, the bears and the bulls, right? It's two sides of the same coin. I'd have to respectfully disagree with you, man. No, the mark's been basically just straight down since November. So I would imagine most bears probably quite happy, like actual bears. Which way is the dollar going? First down, then major ups after that next down. But I don't think that that's a good correlator to really draw for Bitcoin. If you actually go into even the daily, you'll notice that they've actually been kind of trading. If you had to make a correlation between the two, they're actually trading together. So I think a lot of that stuff is just pure fucking bullshit. What is actually a little bit more interesting though is looking at the stablecoin dominance ratios. Those seem to really have some good efficacy for judging direction in looking at like an inverse relationship there, and has been very well studied going back till they started to come about, which I think was like 2015, 2016. So yeah, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with that. Or it's not that I respectfully disagree with that. It's just AJ has a great question. Why can't you finish your coffee first and start the live stream? Hate this slurp slurp sound, especially in bear market. Leave. Just fucking leave, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. Well, when you make your own YouTube channel and you decide to live stream at the crack of fucking dawn, you can decide what to do for yourself, sir. I understand that it's not going to be for everyone, of course, and, there's always going to be at least one person just going to complain because people complain, and they're entitled to complain, but I'm also entitled to not give a fuck. And also, on top of that, it's not that long, man. But the reason why, if you actually really do have to know, the reason why I do not start the stream before finishing my coffee is because I want to get the stream out as early as possible so that you lazy fucks over in the Western Hemisphere, I'm guessing you're in the Western Hemisphere, especially named AJ, complaining fuck faces, can get their stream at a reasonable hour, or a more reasonable hour than, let's say like another hour or two. Sorry, man, that was rude. Tether dominance scary. Yeah, I do agree. Tether dominance does make me think that, regardless of whether we see some more up from here, the general direction still is down. Over the next probably few months or so. So, the real question to me is, where do we see the next top on Bitcoin? Does it come in around kind of where we're currently at, or does it get another try towards 35, or best case scenario, do we see like maybe 38 or 39? I think that's, of course, a lot less likely, but it's really just a question of when we see that, not kind of if, to me. I stand very much by my sort of macro analysis here that, before end of year, we're very likely to see something reasonably close around to our current lows, or maybe just new lows in general. In fact, there are several things that do suggest that slightly new lows at least are probably likely, but we can put in a nice rally between now and then, obviously, and it's never that easy, right? It's never that easy. So we miss Omar. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Where is he gone? He didn't like this. He didn't like the coffee drinking, man. Have you noticed that you pronounced until like Intel? It is funny and adorable. I appreciate that. I butcher all sorts of words, man. So it's funny that you picked out that one. But yeah, man, I know that my speech probably not the greatest. I actually went to speech pathology when I was like a very young kid, like I think 5 or 6. Because I kept on fucking stuttering, which I even still do now to this day sometimes, especially when I'm speaking a little bit faster. But overall, it actually did quite help, which is kind of slowing down, man. Kind of silly. Hey, what's up, Reef Keepers? The hash ribbons indicator is completely irrelevant right now. It's very interesting. You're not the only person to bring this up or to ask about it, so I'll just address it again, I guess. But basically, the hash ribbons indicator was invalidated fucking completely. Let me see how long ago this was. We called it out, I believe, in like December. Yeah, in December. The last daily low before that was about $38,000, and obviously we traded below that. Sorry, in January. So I don't really understand why I'd go back to an indicator like that when it's quite literally invalidated. So the only thing that would make me interested in the hash ribbons indicator yet again is if we get the next buy signal, and then we can go back and reanalyze it. But as it currently stands, there's nothing to do there. There's nothing to do there, at least in the way that I've kind of backtested it for myself and for this channel. It would just be a waste of time. It'd be like, hey, we already saw that this relationship was broken, but let's continue to rely on it. It's like no. Once things are done, the hopium fades away, and that was definitely one of the bigger pieces of hopium. I guess until like early January. But overall, all hopium dies. All hopium dies in a nasty red dildo death, of course. How about the Pi cycle? Pi cycle still works. I'd actually be interested to bring that one up. I forget what I have it on. Let me just try to bring it up on another screen, because that is something. It called the fucking top again. Kind of. It kind of called the top again. I mean, it did kind of call the top again. Hold on. Let me just double check over here. It's been some time. It didn't. Okay. To be fair, it actually didn't call the top, but it might as well have been the top, because it called the top, obviously, in April of last year, April 2021. We did trade higher than that top, of course, in November of 2021. But could you say that was like basically it? Hard to say, man. Hard to say. But even then, it's like, after that signal is given, the buy signals for the Pi cycle indicator are not like good, historically speaking. So it's not something that I pay attention to begin with. But obviously, the next time that it occurs, we're probably pretty damn close to the top, to be fair. I want your back fur badly and Solana price. No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, my back fur is growing at an astronomical pace. It's actually very concerning right now. So just got a couple more sips over here for the AJs of the world. Go fuck yourself. And I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Look, man, I'm just having a little bit of fun. I'm not like actually mad about it or anything like that. I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun. That's all. I probably shouldn't even say that. Okay, I apologize, man. Going a little bit. Can I stop disrespecting Americans? I am a fucking American. Like, what the hell? There will be no disrespect for any Americans while I'm around. That's something that Sacred would say. No making fun of Hex and no making fun of America. It's like, okay. West Hemi, baby. Slurps are the ads to support the free content. Yeah, there you go, man. There you go, Lewis. There you go. A reasonable person in the midst. I love it, man. Absolutely fucking love it. Yeah. Get paid to slurp it out, man. DH has a really good question here that I do see quite often as well. Hey, Krown, I watch your channel every day. Awesome, man. Thank you. Does max pain, so you're talking about open interest on options, affect your TA? Absolutely fucking not. It is 100% ridiculous bullshit, especially for Bitcoin options, because they're just not that well used as of right now. And certainly not on a daily expiration schedule. But perhaps if you did have to really look at something, let me actually bring it up over here. It would be the quarterlies that probably do have, some sort of some sort of validity. But even then, I'll tell you how I look at this over here. It's really in no way, shape, or form due to the max pain. Like, I don't care about this. Yeah, we are kind of. Yeah, this is going to be today's expiration, obviously. Yeah, so we kind of are, pinned around here for today's expiration, or actually, I guess it would be 30,500, but, that's going to be coming in, 2 hours or so from now? Do we trade down to 30,000 bucks? Might not. It doesn't really matter to me. What I care a lot more of is the actual strikes that have a lot of open interest on them. So as you can see over here, June, first week of June is nothing compared to the June regulars right here. So that's June 24th. It's going to be the third Friday of the week. So let's bring that up right here. And what do we see? We do see that max pain is 34,000 bucks. Again, irrelevant as far as I look at it. But what I do actually, oops, sorry, AJ's gonna like that one too, man. Sorry about that. Just burp in your fucking face. The things that I do put a lot of weight on though is the most traded strikes that are kind of like relevant to our current at the money, and that would be $25,000 put strike versus about $40,000 call strike. No, this isn't going to be too helpful, but I would feel very confident and comfortable saying that by the 24th of June, we ain't going to see below 25 nor above 40,000 on a closing basis on, again, I think the 24th of June. Yeah. So I do think that, that's probably the trading range for a while anyways now. I do think like best case scenario for Bitcoin, we might see up to 38-ish, maybe best case. But ultimately, I do think that we probably come down reasonably close to like our current lows, which could be like 25, 27, maybe even a little bit lower. We'll see how that happens after. But for right now, the ball's in the Bulls' court, so we get to see how far they take it up. But it's right now it's really it's really reminiscent of that saying, you take the stairs up and the elevator down, and that's exactly how it feels. And you can and you probably feel it just as I do as well, in the sense that all of these upside moves, they're long, they're drawn out, they feel very weak. It feels like you're really pulling teeth in order to get price action up there. I mean, shit, man, I'm even having like trouble getting filled as of the last month and a half, which was never an issue before in the past couple of years. In the most liquid exchanges, and it's just I think it's just reminiscent of these markets and kind of where we're at in the cycle right now. But the downside moves, like, they're just unabated. They're so fucking nasty. I mean, shit, that last one that we saw on the 1st of June with that move from about 32 all the way down to 29,350, there was literally no bounce until, even like on a very low term time frame, like a 5-minute, I feel like, until when I think it was like, yeah, until literally like 29,800. It was just straight down the whole fucking way, and then you got a little bit of a bounce up to 30,400, and then the lows were put in like another $1,000 lower than that at 29.4 to 29.3. So, these are just really brutal moves to the downside, and that's just also kind of a thing, just again reminiscent of the portion of the cycle that we're in right now. But yeah, as far as options open interest, the max pain, no, it doesn't matter to me. Would it suggest that we're going to be around 34,000 bucks, in the next few weeks? I mean, to be fair, that actually is pretty damn close to my Boolah targets, assuming that they continue to be not invalidated, which they're not still thus far. But yeah, it's, I wouldn't be reliant on that. Certainly, I wouldn't make a habit out of it, is what I'm trying to say. What else did I want to get into? Yeah, Bybit. We got a Bybit chill link. And then also Instagram. I've actually been trying to keep up I am keeping up the momentum of posting every day. A regular like picture every day, and it's like great. and then also then something hopefully helpful every other day with like a video. So I found a lot of value in kind of posting it over there, and I really appreciate the feedback on it. So major thanks for that, and I'll continue to do that until until I don't, until I don't, I guess, until people start hating, I suppose. But yeah, it's been quite fun thus far. Okay, well there goes the rest of the caffeine. Now we got some water. 30 minutes into this one already, so let's Krown, is Contango theory real? Contango theory? I'm not aware of Contango theory, but Contango is very real, and it's actually usually quite, like, usually happens. It's usually like what is happening. It's like very rarely do we see backwardation unless if it's like a true downside market. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say probably yes, probably yes. But I'm not familiar with the actual theory of what you're saying. So yeah, okay, cool. All right, better out than in. There you go, man. There you fucking go. Okay, here we go for Bitcoin. I want to start off with the short-term timeframes over here. We did hit the short-term timeframe easy target based off of yesterday's analysis, which was a combination of hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, plus momentum also just turning up, plus even 4-hour jewel turning up right there as well. And of course, those, somewhat are actually pretty significant negative funny rates that we did see. And in this case, we hit the easy target on it right around the 382, which is 30,450. And now it's a game of range resolutions in the way that I look at it. So I want to come at today's analysis a little bit more nuanced, because I don't really have like a super big bias in this current range, because we're quite literally in the middle of an overall trading range. So it's like short-term timeframes versus the daily range, which obviously matters a lot more. But what I would like to call attention to is two major areas that I'd be looking at for validations of traps on both sides. So in this case, I would actually be looking at any sort of an hourly closure below about 30,250. This is on BitMexico, by the way, as validating a bit of a short-term bull trap right here, with very likely another stretch back down to the bottom side of this blue box. That would have major implications for higher term timeframes, with judging targets lower, basically back down to the prior daily range lows, which is in like the $28,000 to $29,000 region. But ultimately right now, it does look like the Bulas are going to continue to have the balls in their court, and I would actually give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Or it's not that I give them the benefit of the doubt, it's like they do get the benefit of the doubt, because right now they are the ones in short-term control. But here's the thing, and I really want to bring this one full circle, because it really nothing of significant interest is happening as of this exact moment in time. Where things actually start to change around, and let me just get rid of this for the moment here, would be with an hourly closure basically above our current high. Or if you wanted to wait for the 0.5, that'd be about 30,800 or 30,850 if you want to be super exact. At that point, things get a lot more interesting for the Bulas, as I would be looking for another decent short-term time frame move, somewhere between about 31,200, perhaps even as high as this breakdown right here, which is about 31,600. But here's the major thing: if we start to see higher term time frames close above these regions here, especially this one, 31.6, but even the 618 here at 31,200, the probabilities of this being a bit of a bear trap get increased significantly, and I would be looking for this rally to continue onwards and forwards, probably into the next few weeks. Because remember, nothing's really changed over here as far as this chart goes. I know this chart might get a little bit of hate because I talk about it too often, but I don't really see any reason not to talk about it until it's completely invalidated. So we'll talk about invalidation in a second, but for right now, it is the daily volatility versus momentum signature, of which anytime that we have seen the daily BBWP below 10 percentile, the expansion phase from that has led to an average move of 20%, some cases a little bit more, actually even closer to 30% in some cases. Done over the course of, I think it was like basically 2 weeks or so. We saw that first expansion happen over here actually on the 29th to 30th of May, which was kind of governing our upside targets. And thus far, so far so good. So this signal is essentially valid as long as we see the daily stochastic momentum oscillator continuing with upside pressure, which will be consistent as long as Bitcoin's close in dailies above 29,800. Here's the thing though: if Bitcoin even comes back down below the lower term time frame range resolution point, which would be about 30,250, I do think that we're going to test back down basically to that momentum pivot, and probably Bitcoin's going to have a major trap to the down, to the downside in this case, if that does happen. But until that happens, I actually do still look at the statistics as favoring the Bulas here, as again, the daily stochastic momentum oscillator has gotten the correct direction from that volatility expansion point for about 10, or not about, but quite literally 10 of the last 12 iterations that we've seen just in the past couple years here. So ultimately, I'm always going to be reliant on that until proven otherwise. And obviously that will have targets, to the upside in this case, which would be, I believe, about 35,000 bucks, give or take in this case. would be about 20% move. Obviously, if we get a little bit more on the upper end of that, then that would be, I think, what is, at least in my opinion, the best case scenario for Bitcoin here over the next month or two, which would be, perhaps at around 38,000 bucks, let's call it. I do think that again is, a bit of hopium if that were to happen. And obviously a lot of things would need to happen before that is even relevant. So yes, until we see this signal invalidated, I would still say that Bula still have the balls in their court. But if I didn't tell you that I have major reservations about this price action, even on short-term timeframes, I'd certainly be lying to you, because this all of the rallies just feel so fucking weak for Bitcoin. So in this case right here, again, I need to, in order to consider that this rally really is real and going to have those legitimate targets in mind, and very likely stops along the way. Again, those targets would be relevant in like 2 weeks still, or maybe more like 10 days from now, I guess. Until Bitcoin closes above the 618 here. That's where the probabilities of this being a bit of a short-term Bula trap on this short-term rally get negated significantly. So you can kind of see that we're literally in the middle of that overall range. So to me, that's complete gamble in this case. Now, I do want to go over the short-term timeframes a little bit more here, because we do have a few things in the underlying market dynamics that are interesting. We do see that funding rates for the hourly are still negative. Now, they're certainly not as negative as what we saw yesterday, which was a lot more of an easier call for a short-term upside move. In this case, it's just negative 0.004%. So it is still negative, but not anything like astronomical here. And if we go reference stochastic momentum, you will notice that the medium-term timeframes are going to start to turn up again if Bitcoin can just hold 30,100 on a 6-hour. On a 4-hour, we will see it continue with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin's above 30,000 bucks. And even a 3-hour, I think, is probably still up as well, above 29.9. Again, all of these signals are quite weak in my opinion, simply because we're looking at corrective signals as identified by the volatility signature that you can see right here, which is going to be basically the same thing as BBWP as well. Yeah, very, very close in this case. So not really getting anything like super unique by looking at both of them, to kind of reference an earlier comment that I saw. But ultimately, all of these are kind of secondary to the higher term timeframes in this case. 12 hours still corrective here. 870 is still the magical number. So the longer that Bitcoin can essentially hold in the middle of this range, the better for Bulas, obviously. And that would still satisfy the daily condition that we laid out over here. Again, with specific interest on 29,750. And let me just see what the index says. Basically same number. So I'd actually put quite a fair bit of weight on that. And then we do have, I think, the 2-day, it's still up as well, above 28.1. And then the 5-day, the 5-day also makes me consider that upside first is more likely on the higher term timeframes. And then, the question is, at least in my opinion, the question is, where does Bitcoin get its next lower high on the higher term timeframes, which I'll address on the weekend's macro video. Or if you don't want to wait for that, you can also view the macro video from last weekend as to why I think that Bitcoin is very likely to test reasonably close to our current lows, or probably even make new lows. But that's unlikely coming, in the short term here. It probably coming, if it is going to come at all, a little bit later this year, most likely in Q4 if I had to guess. But timing never really been my forte in this case, and this would be the monthly right here. Again, long term, I think at best we're going sideways between like 20,000 and 40,000, and maybe next year we see a little bit of a try back towards 50, something like that. Could make sense as like a best case scenario. But for right now, if you're just keeping it on the short term timeframes, I think it's rather cut and dry here. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it for that. Maybe I'm missing something on the very short term timeframes. Hourly is gonna potentially have hidden bullish divergence. Doesn't really look too strong to me, nor is it even there at this moment anymore. But if we do close back above like 35.50, that will be there. What about maybe a buy early? I'm looking for something that's obvious here. No, not really getting anything that's obvious here. All momentum oscillators are basically in the middle of their pain, so I'm not really seeing anything that's like very compelling from a buy standpoint. Here is the hidden bullish evidence that we identified yesterday on the 4-hour, but that's, you already got the easy move from that. So I think that's a good place to leave it off. We're only 8 minutes and 30 seconds into this video. I'll just quickly talk about the Krown trading application over here, because this one's rather short. We do have a sale going on right now. Make sure to watch the promotional videos that accompany any one of the programs, as that's going to explain who they're for and who they're not for, so you can make an educated decision for yourself if it's even relevant to you. And then obviously we also have our Bybit show links, and then also my Instagram show links, of which I need to remind people, because I still actually get messages about this. So, I do need to be serious about this. But hey, on Instagram, there's a bunch of scammers with relatively similar names to my real accounts. My The only real accounts that I have are in the link in the description below. Any other account is a scammer. I'm never going to ask you to trade your accounts. I have no interest in doing such things. My hands are definitely this week very fucking full with trading my own accounts, as Elsa can tell you. And please just be aware that if it sounds too good to be true, if they're promising like anything, basically, it's a fucking scam, man. Whether it's coming from like someone that has a similar name to myself or like another account, please be aware that a lot of the time it's just, it's just straight up scam. So yeah, I think that is going to do it for, that's going to do it for this one. I want to wish you well. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go, sirs and sirs. Lovely, man. Yeah, would consider shorting 36,000 too. Would have to look at other factors too. I would never say like I would do that before it actually happens, because you don't know how things look until they get there, right? But yeah. Okay. Can I check the last comment? You're talking about James? Do you know? No, no, because that's a completely separate thing, James, for the sort of philosophical program. It's completely unrelated to anything that's on the Krown trading venue. So no, there's no coupon codes there. There's no discounts or anything like that. I'll probably, if anything, raise the price over time, but I want to get some more feedback first, of which it's probably, I mean, honestly, I'm like very, very proud of that program, just because I feel like I wanted to get that sort of content out there, but it doesn't really fit in the context of trading, because it's intended to be more than that. And then I'll also be updating it over time as well. So yeah, man. Hopefully that kind of clears it up. I'll work through my comments now. Oh yeah, and I also want to let you know about something that I probably should be speaking more about. Let me just bring it up over here. But basically, we've actually been having a nice little clips channel for this channel, where basically little pertinent clips are. Oops, I'm typing it in right now. Pertinent clips are kind of posted there, which I would strongly suggest you check out. If you happen to give a fuck. So let me just pull it up right here. It's called Eric Krown Crypto Clips. It should be as obvious as possible. And let me just show it right here. Okay, there we go. And yeah, it's some of it's a little bit more fun stuff, some of it's a little bit more educational stuff, but trying to keep it, nice, easy, digestible, in this sort of, just few minutes at most time frame. And that's there for you if and when you desire. So there you go. Cool. All right. I'll just leave that up for a second as I pull up the clippies, or sorry, the comments over here. 1 second. Oh, Elsa's already got them all organized. You mean Jor? Or are you talking about Cameron? Cameron Hill says, Nikki, Elsa, hello. I'm a U.S. Marine station in Japan and love being able to tune in. I'd love it if Krown could review DOT. Shout out to the armed forces overseas. My fucking man. My fucking man. You got to respect all of the armed forces. I have a significant amount of respect for them. That's a fucking real job, man. That's a real job. That's super cool. Yeah, let's do it for the military. Let's do it for the military here. All right. Polkadot. Well, I can't promise you I'm going to say some very nice things about this thing. It's pretty fucking ugly, to be quite honest. But let's see. Look, if we catch a bit of a bear market rally, I think this one at best case scenario gets somewhere around like 17 to 19 bucks. Long term though, very likely a lot more downside, or I shouldn't say a lot more downside to go, but probably down to like $5, $6, something like that, like very, very long term, maybe around end of year. But the question is, in the interim, do we see a rally up into like the mid teens, maybe even deep teens? Possible, I guess. Again, it's going to be mostly decided upon whatever Bitcoin does here. I imagine most people are going to be looking at this as a descending triangle. There is validity to that, but it'll be negated with any sort of a move back above this 30th of May high right here. And at that point, I would be looking for a bit of hopium upside, at least somewhere around like 13 bucks. And then, it's going to kind of be up to Bitcoin, in my opinion, to kind of see if like we get the next leg of that, which would probably be that $17, $18 region. But long term, not great. not very great here. But if I did call it, kind of been flippy floppy on this myself, but probably rallies. This one's just, all of these things have been beat up so damn much to the downside already without any sort of like legitimate relief rally. Really wouldn't be asking for too much to get a relief rally first and then dump it in our faces. Joy Broder says, hey Krown, what's up, man? Can you look at US oil? Yeah, real stocks or real commodities, definitely. USOIL. Okay, this is crude. Need to know how long it can still afford to drive. Okay, on a weekly. It's an interesting one here. Someone that I really, really respect actually is calling a top on this. I can't say that I see it myself, man. You know, I think that this one's probably going to make another move towards $1.25, maybe even $1.30, but it's look, from a technical standpoint, it's difficult not to be bullish on this. The problem with oil and commodities like this is that, or especially oil and gas, is there's a lot of games and actual manipulation play with these sorts of things. I fucking hate it. I literally, like, this is like degen paradise on these sorts of things. But if I did have to call it just based off technicals, yeah. Do you think you got another move to the upside? Maybe like $1.30 if things really get crazy, $1.40. But you know, after that, I mean, it's probably gonna make another move to the upside. Yeah, $1.25 to $1.30, I think is rather likely. I mean, all higher term time frames are bullish on this thing. The question is though, when next pullback? And you probably should get a pullback somewhere between $1.30 to $1.40. And then after that, I guess pray to bear Jesus that this thing comes back down again. Though it's you know, U.S. oil and names in general, very heavily manipulated and will actually run off of the fundamentals in particular. So for me, I've never liked trading oil. My mentor, he loved trading oil. Couldn't fucking understand it myself. To me, it just looked like pure gambling. He loved it, but yeah, I don't touch it with a 10-foot fucking pole. So I just don't trust tentacles as much on it, even though actually plays okay here. But man, it's like looking at the quarterly. What's this in 2014? Fucking nasty. But yeah, if I did call it, yeah, another move to the upside before a potential high, and that would be like 130 to 140 region. Cool. All right. Super Googly Lee says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Given your experience, how would you rank the difficulty for day trading the following stuff? Stock indices versus FX versus commodities versus crypto. Okay. So it depends on your strategies, right? So I'm a pure technical trader. I don't watch the news. I don't really look too much into fundamentals. I just want to know, like, as far as fundamentals go, I just want to know, like, is this literally a scam or not? Because I don't want the fucking rug to be pulled underneath me without like some sort of legitimate warning in advance, you know? So with that out of the way, it's honestly, man, people are probably going to massively disagree with this, but I would actually say Forex and crypto probably the easiest because they trade the most technically. Why is that? Because there's not like earnings reports for these sorts of things. There's not like forwards outlooks. There's not these sort of things that you have to deal with in stocks or commodities, which can influence that. Commodities, I would say, is next, and then honestly, I think stock indices are. Well, no, I'd probably do Forex would be easiest. Crypto next. Stock indices after that, and then maybe commodities after that, because commodities are the most manipulated in my opinion. No whores, real cheap, fuck dates. My fuck date. Jesus, that's got to be like the new Tinder line. Hello, ma'am, would you be interested in a fuck date? I would like to know if it's a fuck date or not.
But no whores.
No whores. You know, again, this is a personal opinion, but I'd probably say Forex is easiest because it trades the most technically. I do think it's even more technical than crypto, because crypto over the weekends especially does some weird shit. But they're kind of like neck and neck. I'd say it's like 1A and 1B, and then stock indices, and then commodities. Because stock indices, there's so many games played. Like, you're playing with the biggest of the biggest money managers. Very fucking difficult, in my opinion, to do that. And then commodities, there's just I think there's like actual manipulation that goes on in commodities in comparison to the other ones. So yeah, that would be my answer for that, man. Crypto Surfer 808 says, aloha, Krown. Thanks for the videos. Thanks. That's just a nice positive message. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All the best to you, man, in the land of paradise in fucking Hawaii, man. Do you have any idea how goddamn envious I am of you right now? It's raining. It's been raining the past couple of days here in Helsinki. It's fucking June, man. Shouldn't be happening. So we are on a mission to go find a couple places so that next year we ain't dealing with this. Capotico, there he is, the sleepless wonder. Can you check out Near on the 1, 4, and 12? Oh man, you just love this piece of shit, don't you? Near looks very similar to Bitcoin on the very short-term time frames. Go to the 4. Already coughing up its rally. Not fucking good. I mean, this one's weak in an already weak market. So again, just like last time we spoke about it, if Bitcoin shows any weakness, this thing is going to come right back down to your 29th of May, 27th of May lows. Very fucking ugly. Where would I start to validate a move like that on this thing? Probably below like 535 on a 4-hour, especially closing below your current lows. But you know, you probably do get at least a bounce somewhere around 520 if it does get back down there. If you go to the hourly, look, if Bitcoin continues to rally from here, this thing will give another try to the upside, probably around like 570. But it's like, it's fucking weak, man. 12-hour, just atrocious, man. Absolutely atrocious. But hey, if you can start to trade over and close over like 570, 575, I'd probably be looking for another rally somewhere around these highs here from, you know, your 23rd of May and more recently in 31st of May. I think best case scenario to the upside, you know, if Bitcoin continues to like 33 or so, you probably see somewhere around $7, but definitely weak on its own. And again, like best, like big hopium here, only hopium. This is pure hopium right here. But let's say Bitcoin does make a move towards 35,000, like, which is a big fucking if at this point. I'd say like $9.50, $10 is I think best case scenario on this thing. Just this is bad, like very bad. But the question is, where does the next rally come in around? I mean, if you get a rally up to like $9, $10, that'd be a fucking gift from God, and very likely, probably even too much opium in this case anyways. The weekly is already like selling. I mean, that is just like, this thing just can't catch a bid. Like, that is just ugly, man. Yeah, again, any sort of weakness in Bitcoin, you're going to see this thing just get destroyed. Just bad, just fucking bad. Let's see. Martin Hunt says, morning, sir. What's up, man? Can you take a look at Cardurpio? Yes. Oh, man. I see. You know what's crazy, man, is I keep on seeing, like, okay, there must be, it's like these people, they know how to manipulate the Twitter algorithm, because all I've been seeing recently is Cardurpio people, Solana people, and Hex Pulse people talking on fucking Twitter, showing their projects. And you know what's really, really funny about it is that they're always talking shit about the other projects. Like, the Cardano people hate the Solana people, the Solana people hate the Cardano people, everyone hates the Hex people. So it's like them versus, it's the most interesting thing to watch from afar. Like, I don't care about any of them. To me, it's all like, it's like a bunch of crabs in a bucket just like arguing with each other. It's just fun to watch. I really don't have a strong opinion on any of them, because I don't happen to care. But in this case right here for Cardano, we should record this, because I know it's probably going to be a little bit more interesting. I mean, rejected it right at the nine, like that is, oh my God. My fucking God, man. All right. Here we have Cardano symbol 88 versus the dollar, and it actually is, to give it its due diligence, acting relatively strong compared to most of the things that we've seen today, including Bitcoin. Actually, it is having a better rally, pound for pound in the short term, of course. Now, I do want to mediate that statement by saying, hey, I would get, quite bearish on this thing and say that rally is canceled for the rally is canceled and back down to prior lows and probably new lows if you do see even a 4-hour closure below about 54 cents. Until then, it's actually showing some signs of strength right here and probably does trade back up towards 63, maybe even tags the highs that we saw earlier this week on the 31st of May. Overall, though, I would still be looking at it as a game of range resolutions long term, and long term, it's really just a question of me to where the next lower high comes in around. So the question is, if we take out the current highs, trade above there, where do we look towards next over the following weeks? Probably somewhere around like 85 to 90 cents or so. I do think would be a nice area to kind of retest. I think best case scenario to the upside is maybe like $1.10 if things really get crazy, and that ain't happening anytime soon. Maybe like, later this summer if it's going to happen at all. But ultimately, at least in my opinion, this is just a game of kind of looking for where the next lower high is. as it does get, its first hopeful bounce off the 200 simple, which has thus far been decent. You got to give it some time. Obviously, it is a weekly chart after all. So I would expect, generally speaking, things to kind of get at least a pity bounce from these sort of things, which could very easily come towards 90 cents. Again, maybe even like a $1.10. But long term, I think that this one's seen the highs for a very long time. And long term, I actually don't think that the lows are necessarily in. I think that it could very easily, maybe around like end of year, come down somewhere around a quarter to like 30 cents. Something like that would kind of make sense. I mean, this is a really ugly top right here. So, whether it tops out again, right here or right here, I don't have a strong opinion on, or maybe it even is already going to top out right here. Although I do think that's a little bit less because it is acting relatively strong to give it its fair weight. I wouldn't call this the next top until at minimum you're closing 4 hours below basically yesterday's low, or sorry, the 1st of June low, which is 54 cents or 54 cents. At that point, very likely going to retest your lows at 46. Maybe another pity bounce there in the short term, but ultimately I wouldn't be too confident on it. Let's go check out what Stochastic Momentum says, especially on the higher term timeframes, and see where that's kind of pivoted at. Yeah, monthly. I mean, again, it's been like, look, this thing's been straight down basically since September of last year. It's been a year straight down. You had 1 month of a bounce here. It really wouldn't take too much to get this one, on a greater bounce sometime this summer. 131.5 is going to be the magical number for June. So, July, that's obviously going to change quite a fair bit. Weekly is also showing some regular bullish divergence on weekly stochastic, and you just need to remain above about 49 cents. So I think it's more likely to bounce generally over the next like month or two. Daily, same thing, 49 cents right there. 4 hour is showing upside above 56. So I'm inclined to say that this one gives another short-term try to the upside. And then if you do trade above your current highs, start to extend that rally maybe into like end of month or July, something like that. And, again, long-term, I just express grave concern. Express grave concern long-term, but short-term can certainly rally here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Carderpio, and even has a actually pretty decent jewel signal right there as well. Started of like 5 days ago. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cardano. Oh, you're just looking at a 1-4 and what? A 1? I think it probably tries another move towards that 60-cent highs on the hourly. You're also building up hidden bullish evidence here as well. So it's not fully confirmed just yet, but it's almost in there. It actually is one of the better charts in the short term that I feel relative to other charts. Crypto King says garbage Dixie hit its top yet. It depends what time frame you're talking about. I do think you've hit a pullback point on the monthly, for example. And I do think that this thing can very easily pull back maybe somewhere down around about 100 even, or maybe even slightly below, like to 99.5. But long term, man, no, I'm massively fucking bullish on this. Like massively fucking bullish on this. This is the quarterly right here. Hidden bullish divergence, lowest quarterly BBWP levels ever recorded for the longest time. Long term, next few years, whether it's like 3 years, 5 years, $1.10, maybe even $1.20. But yeah, if you're on like a daily, oh my God, it's coming down. It's probably going to come down short term to like 101.360. Probably try for another bounce there and then come down maybe like later this month to fill some of those downside targets. And then that's when I'd expect it to really like do some girthy green dildo action to the upside. But yeah. Venegas says, sir, can we retouch on OGN 1 and 4 hour? Okay, let's see. Can always count on you, man. And daily, is this a plate for a short-term lower high? 4 hours fine. I don't really see any issues with this. You just got a higher low right here. So, it's just a consolidation, but you got a higher low. I look at this as actually good and probably makes another move to the upside somewhere around like 40 cents as long as you hold above about 27.5. That'd be kind of the pain point for this thing. Daily. Theoretically, it would be a great place for a daily lower high, but I wouldn't call it or confirm it until you're below at least like that 27.5, 28 cent region. And if the rest of the market gets a nice little continuation of this bounce, probably looking somewhere around like 50 cents. That would be a much more obvious and lovely place for a lower high. Yeah, weird looking chart here long term though, so I don't know how much I'd stand by that statement, because at least did provide a nice pullback. That's what I feel very, very confident on. But yeah, if you do lose that 27.5 cent region, I'd be looking for your lows back down around like 21.5 cent ish, give or take. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you. It's like just a game of where's the next lower high, basically. Davian says, can you have a look at power ledger? I can, but without any time frames, I don't think it's going to be very helpful. Are we buying or selling today, boys? Like, oh God. How to spell power ledger? Why do I keep on not pressing the right goddamn thing? Power ledger. Jesus Christ, man. Where is the US? I mean, bad, fucking ugly, terrible are words that I'd use to describe this. We'll never see all-time highs ever again in the history of its history, probably. Monthly, atrocious. All higher term timeframes, ugly as fuck. Long term, like probably around end of year, probably coming back down to 10 cents. Short term, can you extend the rally a little bit more? Maybe even popped up to 42.5, maybe. But there's absolutely nothing to be excited about here as long as you're below that last high, which is like 70, your mid 70s or so. So I don't really know where you want me to go on this one, because that's why timeframes are very valuable. But if you have to call it, I mean, I wouldn't call a local high here and down just yet until you're closing below like 26.5 cent. Until then, the Bula still got a bit of a chance. You know, could very easily put in a move towards 36, maybe 40 cents in the next few weeks. But long term, absolutely hate charts like this. Any chart that was alive in 2018 that failed to even retest around its 2018 highs is just a terrible chart. And this is linear, by the way, which is like a lot more accurate representation. It's nowhere fucking near on those highs. More than double it did in 2018. Terrible. It had one of the most bullish markets of all time in 2021. Couldn't even get halfway to its prior all-time high. Not a good sign. My children say you're their favorite YouTuber. That's amazing, man. Oh God, you're exposing them to this sort of content. That's concerning, man, but also amazing. Yeah, that's a good dad. Start them young. Yeah, as far as power ledger goes, I don't know what time frame you're rolling off of, so I really don't know how to make this applicable to you. Mr. Vanegas says, quick question. Do you ever trade when you are sick or feeling under the weather? Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So, I always want to be like, in a game like this where you're, always judged by your last trade, you want to be at the top of your game because there's no reason not to, because you know that when you're in that sort of a state, you have access to like your best thought processes and thinking facilities. So, do I not trade when I'm sick? I mean, usually I just don't want to trade when I'm sick already, but it depends how sick I am. And like maybe if it's a very high term time frame level that I had marked off, like a week in advance, and I just want to take like a very, what I consider maybe a more easy trade there, perhaps I'll do that. But I wouldn't be like on the fucking 5 minute, for example, or the 15 minute, looking to trade, in a more fast paced manner. Cause one, I want to be focusing on recovering, and two, yeah, when I'm sick, like I'm not going to be thinking, the best. So, I think it's, at least in my case, better to avoid that. Again, everyone's going to be different on that. But, for me, it's like, look, if I'm not going to be at the top of my mental processes, I'm not giving myself the best chance to succeed. So why would I put money at risk during those times? Would be my sort of take on that. Crypto King says, Luna, please. I mean, we can look at Luna, man. I don't know what kind of a chart it's going to have though. Or even where it even trades anymore. That's a really good question. It's on BitMEX apparently. So let's go check it. Oh my God. What the hell? That is a bizarre look. Okay. So this is not updated, obviously. Finex, this might be updated because it's such a very small number. I don't know, man. Like, look, it looks dead to me, but the problem with these sort of things is that you might just get that hopium pump that gets sold off immediately and then slam it back down. But there's nothing in my technical repertoire that would make me I mean, look at this, man. Like, this is the daily RSI. I don't think I've really seen a daily RSI like this on a living asset. It's literally stuck at like 14.41. So I don't have any real opinion on this, man. I would assume more of the same, but hey, who knows when you get the next like boop and then slam it, something like that. But from what I understand, this is basically kind of a dead project, but I'm not like an authority on that topic, so should probably ask Mr. Do Kwon. Mr. Do fucking Kwon. It's not living, says Berg Bowers. Yeah. Luna 2. Okay, well, you're saying it's the wrong chart. This is the chart that I was given, man. This is the chart I was given. So, wrong chart, man! It's like, sir, like, fucking relax. Here's Luna 2. Not much of a daily to go off of. 4 hour probably comes back down to like 640, but there ain't, if you're literally just asking about the daily, I don't know, because this is an unhelpful chart for myself. I have no opinion on that. If you're asking about an hourly, still pretty weak in terms of data here, but if I had to call it, probably back down to like 650, 640 region. I don't feel too married to that analysis though. Meeker's Adventures says, I want your back for about, oh, sorry, no, I missed a deal. MKR. Okay, we haven't looked at MKR and it's got to be like a year now, I think. What exchange? Maybe Coinbase. I don't know. Weekly. Okay, Coinbase on weekly. Okay, there you go. You actually already, yeah, very fucking weak here, man. This one is certainly not relatively strong. It is relatively weak. I mean, to me, it looks like you've already got the pity bounce off the weekly 200, and this thing is gonna absolutely have a catastrophic failure down to like 800, 750 or so in the coming months. Let's see what the monthly looks like. That'd be a hell of a call to have right now, but basically what would invalidate this right here, you need to try to trade above that high that you saw from 31st of May. Until then, I mean, this is a continuation formation. Not that I'm a humongous fan of formations, but where would I call continuation? Any sort of a daily below these lows from 27th of May. And then, I mean, at that point, like, kind of already in free fall, I guess. So maybe one more short-term pity bounce at 1050, but ultimately in the following months, I'd probably be looking for this one to do the full retrace back down to these areas here that you saw from November of last year. I mean, this is, again, just not fucking good. Not fucking good by any stretch of the imagination. Short-term 4 hour looks like it wants to come down as well. 1140, maybe even back down to 11,000. I mean, anything other than that is like, it's just basically hopium here. There's just nothing even remotely bullish as long as you're below this region right here. And even then, it's like, yeah, you probably get another extension on this rally towards 1580, but at that point, you got to clear above these highs here at 1650. And then, yeah, you can probably put in a nice bear market rally again, but that's very likely a bear market rally. And I think you've already played that out over here on this bounce that you saw in early May, actually. But above there, I mean, this thing can rip towards 2,800. It's just, I think that's just pure fucking opium right now. But hey, if that happens, then yeah, I guess that's what I'd be looking for. Can we get Krown to wish our queen a happy platinum jubilee? I don't know what that is, but sure, yeah, have a happy platinum jubilee, queen. I'm guessing you're English. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I heard that they're actually having a jubilee, like debt jubilee or student loan. Well, basically, get a load of this. Okay, I'm gonna explain this to Elsa. She's gonna be shocked. Okay, so you know how in America you typically take out loans to go to college and get a degree? Okay, and it can cost like, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 depending upon your school, just to go to college. So in America, I think, I don't know if this is true just yet. I might just be reading like bullshit on the internet, but I've heard that they're truly considering to forgive student loan debt, which is not fucking forgiveness. It's basically just saying that, the people who took out loans to study like gender studies and shit like that, who have no way of really paying them back with any job in that sort of field, or at least I would imagine. Maybe I'm not educated in that direction, but they no longer have to pay that loan back, and now you, the taxpayer, get to pick up the bill for them.
That's not what it means.
That's not what it means.
The internet says it's the 70th anniversary of the Queen.
Oh, okay. That's a completely different thing. It's the same word though. It's the same word. um, 10,000 is forgiven. All right, that's not too bad, I guess. Debt forgiveness is not for everybody. There are some people who are more equal than others, so I hear. It's okay. The Queen's, yeah, hey, good. I like the Queen, man. My dad was born in England, so I guess I'm like a little bit English myself. Great. She sounds lovely. She makes me moist. Let's see. Meekers wants to look at Solana. Yeah, we can do that. See where Solana is. Up to 10,000 for federal loans, not private loans. Okay, I see. Yeah, still not like obviously ideal, but not as bad as what the internet kind of made it seem from what I saw this morning. Again, I'm not like don't take anything that I say in that regard seriously. Solana, ugly. Fucking this one made new lows. Oh my god. Again, it's just a game of where's the next low or high. Short term, if Bitcoin continues to rally, probably looking somewhere around 42.5, maybe 44.5. Hard to love this chart as long as you're below 48 though. Above 48, that's where I do think that this one has a nice little bear market rally, at least towards 58, 59, maybe even towards 64. I mean, again, just another chart that's really having no major reprieve on this downside move. So, I'm inclined to say that things like they should bounce. They should. There's no should, obviously, but it would be. I'd be remiss to not look for like at least something resembling a bounce here. It would be very nice to see this thing back around like 75 before the next meltdown. I mean, that's just a fucking crazy chart, man. I'm still like. I would have, just from like experience, I do feel like it'd be kind of difficult to see this thing make new lows before trying for at least a pity bounce. But hey, pity bounces are banned until you're back above like $48 or so. Like just crazy how bad some of these charts are, man. I do think that any sort of bear market rally probably gets arrested around $60 or so, give or take a couple bucks from that number. Long term, still more downside to come. $20 I think is rather likely, maybe around end of year, maybe even summer if this thing continues to fall apart. And then you got Sam's buys over here, which is like $3-4 if things really get nasty. And speaking of kids, mine asked for the Crypto Logic song. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's super cool. I didn't know that you were a dad as well. Holy shit. That's cool, man. Hip hop opotamus. Hip hop opotamus. Hey man, hope you're good as well. Could you please check out NAS on the weekly? Okay, you're talking about symbol NDX. We'll look at futures for this one. You're specifically asked about the weekly. You kind of got the easy target on this rally. I think I was saying 13,000. You got up to 1945. The question is, does it continue more or not? I am inclined to say that it probably does continue more over the next like few weeks. I'd really like to see, rally somewhere around like 13,600 to maybe even as much as just above 14,000. But that's again like just another bear market rally. I don't think that the lows are in just yet. I do think that you probably rally from here though, because you're gonna have some pretty significant hidden bullish evidence being built up here on monthly RSI. So if you're on higher term time frames, which it sounds like you are, it might trade sideways here a little bit, and then I think it probably has one more move to the upside. And then if it's if we're gonna see some like significantly new lows, that's where I'd be expecting it to kind of happen from. Let's go down from like a lower term time frame. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I think the lows are in basically for the time being, especially as long as you're above 12,400 or 12,450, whatever this number is here. This area right here, as long as you're above there, generally think that the lows are in. And you're like for now, and the next move is to the upside, and short term, sideways is fine, but as long as you're above that low, I think that you got a nice low in. I think the last chance for love would be like 12,100, but yeah, I'm inclined to say that this one probably trades sideways and tries another upside move, and then if it's going to come down, it comes down like later this year or next year or something like that. See what the quarterly looks like again. Yeah, again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the quarterly probably does have more downside to go, but that could take years. Will Feck for bandwidth says Amazon daily weekly 20-1 split coming up soon. Buy now or wait for the split dump. I mean, usually like the dump that happens after, typically like that's probably what you want to wait for. Yeah. You know, it's a difficult thing, man. These sort of situations I don't touch, like for my own self, or when I was trading traditional markets. I do think that you have upside here in the short term, but it depends like what you're trying to do. Like if you're accumulating for the long term, do I think that the lows are in for forever? No, I think that you got some nice lows in here for now, and you probably try a rally up, maybe like 2,800 to maybe even as much as 3,000. But this is a nice top for a long time. So whether it pops up here and then comes down, I still think that this one probably bases off somewhere around these areas here, long term. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. If I go to a daily, I think you got upside short term, 26 to 2610. And yeah, 2,800 would be also a nice area as well. So that's really all that I got for this one. Short term up, long term, I wouldn't necessarily say that the lows are in just yet, or at least not as they currently are. So yeah. Viva KV says, can you please take a look at waves, short term TA? All right, don't know what short term means to you, but I'll try my best. Yeah, this one I really don't fucking like because it does weird pump and dump shit. And I've heard like there's a lot of speculation on, there's just a lot of speculation on this one like being legitimate or maybe even having similar issues to like a Luna, for example, is what I've heard. But again, I'm not like, I wouldn't stand by that statement myself. I don't fucking know. Here's the thing though, yeah, it's acting relatively strong in the short term. No fucking doubt about that. Any sort of a 4-hour closure above 1045, 1050, I'd be looking for this rally to really continue towards 13, maybe even 14 and a half. I know you didn't ask about the daily, but yeah, I'm inclined to say it probably does have another move to the upside. If you're on an hourly, where would I invalidate that and be bearish on it? Basically below 736 until that level's taken out. Generally think you're going to try one more move to the upside, but again, this one, from what I understand, is like there's some big questions surrounding it, so I don't really feel too confident when it comes to that. But yeah. Benegas, you have 2 kids and you're turning 28 next Friday. Holy shit, man. Yeah, we'll look at that in a bit, but I actually have one more to get to you before you. Laura says, hey, Krown and Elsa. All good. Thanks for, the self-show. There we go. Please give your thoughts on using SPGI commodities as indicator to investing in risk. I've never even thought about it. Never even considered about it. Talking about S&P Global. I have no idea. Like I've never even looked at this chart, to be honest with you. So I can't give you an answer from experience here. In general though, I think that you can look towards traditional markets to give off an idea of when it's time to be risk on or risk off. It doesn't necessarily need to be this ticker right here, which seems like it's related to SPY, but NASDAQ I think is a better corollary for that. And it's like, look, you have to look at like crypto or Bitcoin, and then especially crypto underneath that, as like a higher beta alternative to looking at tech stocks. So unless if tech is very, very strong, or growth stocks in general are very, very strong, which they're not right now, then Bitcoin and crypto are going to take the brunt of that even more so, traditionally speaking. So I think that's probably what you're going off of. If you're just looking at this chart right here, I think that you got a nice low in. I don't really know what this chart is, to be honest with you though. But I think that you got a nice low in. You probably trade sideways and try an upside move around, sometime this summer towards 380 to 390, and then maybe come back down after that. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have a strong opinion on. My strong opinion is on this. Like, what the fuck? Long term, right? Like, what the fuck? Quarterly. This is just egregious. But it always kind of looks like that, to be fair. But the thing is that these corrections can be like absolutely devastating. And if we really do have like a massive macro correction, over the next few years, this thing will come down a lot more towards like 250. But that could be years away. It could be like a year or two away. I don't know. Short term though, I think you got a nice low end. Probably try some upside, over the next few weeks. Cool. Okay. Oh, I actually missed this one over here. Aussie dollar versus US dollar. Okay, cool. Okay. I guess we go over here. Some good old Forex. All right. And you are on a what? 4-hour and a daily. Okay, 4-hour, I imagine it's probably going to be pullback. Yep. short term. Probably does pull back a little bit, but overall, I don't think that this rally is necessarily done, but it could very easily come down to like 72 or so. Daily, I think that this one does continue overall. See what the weekly is. Yeah, I generally think you probably pull back a little bit first on the short term, and then maybe try like one more move to the upside, assuming that you can basically just close above yesterday's high. If you see something like that, then I would be looking for the next move up somewhere around like 73, 70 to maybe even a little bit more than that, like closer to 74 cents. But ultimately, long term, you know, again, well, there is some accumulation going on right here. It's really going to depend how the monthly closure closes. But long term, I mean, if you can just see a monthly closure above like 75 and a third, this thing is actually going to put in a major low right here and have big upside moves towards 80 cents plus if that happens. So just short term, probably be looking for some downside. I wouldn't be really concerned about this thing, especially as long as you're above 71.40. Okay. Okay, there he is. Now we got Venegas. All right. Yeah, we just did waves. Okay, ANC anchor. This is also related to Luna, isn't it? Let's see on Binance. 1 foreign daily, more downside incoming, potential for a trade. I mean, this is like terrible chart, but this one's related to Luna. So again, it's like if Luna does one of those pump and dumps, I don't know what happens to this. I don't know. I'd imagine probably I might trade with it. Short term, hourly. I mean, it's really fucking weak, man. You already know what I'm about to say. I do think it's more likely to come to the downside closer to 19 cents. Again, you know, Bitcoin shows weakness here, which is it's not really doing anything right now, to be fair. But if it does take out these lows right here, even like an hourly below 20 cents, I'd be looking for these lows to be retested, which is like closer to 19 and a quarter to 18 and a half or so. Let me just see what you're asking. More downside incoming. I think long term, yeah, you have more downside incoming. Yes. The question is, do you get a pity bounce first? Because if you do start to trade above these highs, you know, you could very easily see a move towards 38 cents. Long term, though, nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below 65 cents. And again, I imagine this one's like similar to Luna. So just by that nature, I'd probably be looking for downside, but I don't know. So this one was probably gonna be more like fundamentally driven, if anything. The obvious trade is above 2nd of June highs, which is 24.41. I'd be looking for another retest back around 27. And at that point, yeah, you might see the hopium rally first evolve. But long term, if you're just asking about that, yeah, I do think that you probably come back down and retest these lows, probably even make new lows. It's just a weird looking chart, really. Yeah, and event driven as well. So to me, it's like, it doesn't really work as well. Or technicals don't work as well in these sort of situations. Let's see. Skiz says, can you check out CSPR? Yeah, I can. But again, no time frames. Don't know where to go, man. But I'll try my best. Gate.io. Terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. Probably coming back down to these 3.4 cent lows. Very bad. Weekly. Never known what a rally is in literally the most bullish of all time bullish markets. So that is not a good sign as well. Sorry, I shouldn't say a rally, but an uptrend. Short term, it looks like it even wants to come back down short term to like 3.5 region. Again, I don't know what time frame you're going off of, but nothing good about this, man. The only way I'd even be looking for a pity bounce would be with a full hour back above like basically 3.9 cents. At that point, yeah, probably at least a move towards like 4.5. Maybe things get really crazy, like 4.9 to 5, but yeah, it's weak in an already pretty weak market, man. It'd take like a pretty phenomenal Bitcoin bounce to get this thing back up. Is there any coin that you're optimistic about? OP, 8 hour, OP, what the fuck is this? Can you close the chats, by the way? This is not a chart, man. It doesn't have enough history, man. Is there any coin that I'm optimistic about? I generally think most cryptos are absolute 100% bullshit scams. That's just my opinion. I don't also spend my time looking at the fundamentals of these things, but to me, it just looks like, you know, used car salesmen pitches and bullshit like that. My edge is not in deciding or not in looking for fundamentally good coins, nor do I even think that matters as much as just general market conditions, to be quite honest with you. So you're asking like a person who's not going to have a good idea on that. As far as this chart goes, it's completely unhelpful. There's nothing here for an 8 hour. Maybe there's another chart like KuCoin or something, even less. I mean, this is just not worthwhile. Same thing over here. Maybe I go down to like an hourly. I don't have any opinion on this chart, man. It's way too new, way too fucking new. Need a way more history in order to do something relevant for an analysis. If I had to call it, I wouldn't even call it. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Ethereum creator is pushing OP. Fair enough. I cannot not my game, so I don't have any opinion on this. It's way too new. Yeah. But yeah, any other coin that I'm optimistic about? I mean, if you're talking about optimism, I'd only be thinking like very, 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 very long term. Bitcoin, I think, is generally going to be good like in the next 10, 20 years. Ethereum probably going to be okay as well, and probably a handful of others. But 98% of shit in this market is 100% worthless garbage that has absolutely zero business being traded and would never be traded on any sort of a legitimate regulated market because it is a complete fucking obvious scam. But yeah, there's going to be a handful of very, very successful, very legitimate things that come out of the space. Do I know what they are? No, I don't. All right, what's up, Mr. Solverine? Last one of the day. Yeah, that's him. When a stock or Bitcoin starts a bull run, like in 2020, and you've missed your buy-in, how do you plan to get back in? Oh man, you know this question. You know the answer to this question. If you feel like you've missed your buy-in, I mean, okay, I'm guessing you're on a higher term time frame, right? So you're basically talking about back on over here in 2020, Bitcoin, starts to really put in an uptrend on the higher term time frames. Where do you have to buy in order to make good money on a long-term investment here? I mean, basically anything in this area here is completely fucking fine. You don't need to be perfect. That's why the saying goes, don't confuse brains with a bull market, right? You can't really fuck this up. You can't really fuck this up, in a market like that, right? So it's more or less just a matter of getting in and then just having your areas marked off, especially on a higher or only on higher term timeframes, because it sounds like that's what you're interested in. And then just being like, hey, as long as we remain in the uptrend, especially on the daily, I'm in. If we start to violate that, I'm out. But you really don't have to be perfect. Obviously, you want to be optimal. So it's like if you missed your buy-in, then what do? Well, you wait for probably a pullback and you're looking for a higher low. So in that case, you're looking for your higher lows, typically somewhere around, especially the 21. As you can see right here, you get several tries there. Every once in a while, you get a test down to the 55, like you see over here. But you don't need to be perfect to make money in a market like this, right? Ever since the breakout, I think we were saying on this channel, like 11.5 to $12,000. That was like macro bull market on. You don't really need to. At that point, it's like just the green button. Yeah, there's going to be wild swings here and there, but when you kind of just smooth it out over time, again, perspective is everything, right? Okay, cool. Mr. Sogal says, I concur. Crypto is loaded with scams, though few gems are world changing. Yeah, again, there's going to be some massively successful things. They might not even already been. They might not already have been made. To be fair. Okay, cool. So I think that's going to be it for today. My voice is starting to leave me. I'm hungry, and I also have an interview a little bit later as well with Dan from Chart Guys, who I'm actually quite excited to talk to. So how to get airdrops, I don't know. Don't know, man. Can't help you there. Participate. There you go. Cool. All right. I think that's going to do it for today, fellas. Again, for Bitcoin, kind of teetering on the edge of destruction right here, but still, I wouldn't really call it nastily until you're at least below 30,250 to 30,200 on an hourly. Until then, a little bit of little bit of ebb and flow here in the middle of the range, but that's where things start to change for myself. And of course, the big one for me, the very, very big one, is again the daily stochastic momentum. We're literally right at the edge of the bullish control zone. If we see any sort of a daily closure today below 29,800, even just below 30,000 bucks, probably bad enough anyways, you're going to see me turn. It's not that I'm going to turn bearish, but I would be looking for another retest of the lows of our range, of the daily range. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to be signing off now. Take care. It's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you well and a nice and profitable day. With that said, take care and see you hopefully soon.
write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it,